So the PlayStation 5 has come out at probably one of the worst times it could come out because of, well, things like COVID. And because of this, we have seen a lot of disgusting things happening with the release of this system when it comes to people scalping these systems, when it comes to people stealing these systems. And there's been so many cases of this happening, and I just want to highlight some of these cases because I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's absolutely disgusting how we have fallen as a society to the hands of the PlayStation 5. And then at the end of this video, I want to give you guys some hints on how you can actually still get a PlayStation 5 this holiday season, because I still have hope in you. I still believe that you can get this system, and I'm going to give you guys some tips on how you could potentially secure one. But before we get into that, we have to ream some of these scalpers. We have to ream some of these people that are stealing stuff because it's absolutely disgusting. What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's talk about all the crazy situations happening with the PS5, and most importantly, how you can potentially avoid them. So the PlayStation 5, and by extension the Xbox Series X, have come out at probably one of the worst times ever because of, well, COVID. You can't really walk into a store like you used to be able to do and sort of plan how to get one of these systems if you were not able to pre-order them. Back in the day, you could camp out for a system. You could go to various stores and try to hustle for systems. And that's the sort of stuff that I have no problem with. If you're putting in time and effort in order to get these systems, if you're sitting outside for 10 plus hours through the cold wintry night to get a PlayStation 5 or something like that, like, that's cool with me. I understand the grind, I understand the hustle. But unfortunately, because of how the world is right now, all of these systems, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, they're being regulated to online sales. And when you start to talk about online sales, obviously look at the rise of technology, look at what people are able to do with technology, and you end up getting a very, very slippery slope. And because of this, there have been tons of cases of various degrees of shadiness when it comes to securing the PlayStation 5, from companies stealing them, the individual truck drivers stealing them, to people, of course, scalping them and bots buying up all these things. So this really started to come to a head with Amazon of UK. A lot of people were reporting that when they pre-ordered the PlayStation 5 from Amazon of UK, when the system actually came in, well, it wasn't really the system. One guy got a big old bag of rice. I mean, you know, it's not Uncle Ben's rice. I think Uncle Ben's rice is a little bit better than this, but you know, if this guy likes rice, I guess he's pretty good to go. And another individual got a bunch of Nerf guns because, well, it's Nerf or nothing, I guess. And this was such a widespread issue that Amazon of UK actually had to comment on it and say that they are doing an investigation as to what happened, why Amazon delivery drivers were essentially repackaging these things and putting in different things into the box that were not a PlayStation 5. It's just an absolutely crazy situation that was happening across the pond, but since it was happening more in the UK, a lot of people in the US, well, they just didn't really pay attention to it. But now we're starting to see instances of it popping up in the US as well, and this is primarily coming through FedEx. Now, I'm not here to throw shade on FedEx. FedEx has been very good to me. Both my PlayStation 5 and my Xbox Series X, which I ordered from Walmart, were delivered via FedEx, and I had no issues. But with the rise of things like Twitter, people are able to express their grievances and share issues, and of course get these issues known out much more so than in previous console generations, because everyone is connected online and everyone is talking to each other. And two instances that really stuck out to me that happened very recently involved two YouTubers. The first one was Gerard the Completionist. He put up a tweet yesterday saying that, "I think a FedEx delivery driver stole a PlayStation 5 in transit, and FedEx support is convinced that it got delivered to my house, even though I have security cameras proving otherwise. The system said it was dropped off last week, but didn't actually confirm the drop off until yesterday." And then he goes on Twitter to express the situation and sort of flesh out the situation a bit more. And that's a big problem, because that's not an isolated incident now, because also yesterday, another YouTuber that I follow, Marlin Gaming Nation, said something along the same lines. Marlin put out a tweet last night saying, "FedEx was trying to steal my PlayStation 5 attempted delivery in another city next to me. Ridiculous. I was talking to the agent and he was no help. Frauds out here stealing people's packages. FedEx, my package better be here tomorrow. This driver needs to be fired. I'm so pissed right now." And the bad thing about Marlin Gaming Nation situation is, if you aren't familiar with him, he's a channel that's been on the rise. I actually did a podcast on OJ's channel and I met Marlin on there. Really cool dude. If you like PlayStation stuff, I definitely definitely recommend checking him out. But Marlon is a diehard PlayStation fan. He does a PlayStation 5 related show live every day on YouTube, and Marlon has actually had various PlayStation 5 consoles break on him. I know he's had at least one of them break on him, and I believe this is either his second or third console that he's had to have replaced since the launch of the PlayStation 5. And it's like, this is a diehard Sony consumer. This is the consumer that Sony should be looking out for the most, but you gotta remember, these companies don't care. These companies just want the systems to sell. Once the system sells, they don't care what happens with that system, who gets the system, how the system is sold. Things like bots and scalpers, they don't matter to these companies because they got their money. And it's really a shame that this is something that's happening with these packages that are being delivered. At first it seemed like it was just something to the UK, and now it's spreading into the US. And I really feel like the closer we get to the holiday season and Christmas and all that crap, more and more of these incidences are going to pop up. But thankfully, we have things like Twitter nowadays where we can get our messages out there and we can get our voices heard about these situations, because companies, you know, from the delivery companies to companies like Sony, they need to know about these situations. And then of course you have the other side of the coin. The other side of the coin that impacts many more people with this, because it limits the availability of getting your hands on a PlayStation 5 in the first place. Now yesterday there was a big expose happening on PlayStation 5 Scalpers, where it was being reported that a group of individuals on a Discord server actually secured over 3,500 PlayStation 5s between them. And the whole sole purpose of this group was in order to scalp the PlayStation 5. They used various bots and things to buy up the stock of this. You actually have to pay to get into this Discord server in order to access it, and then you have the chance to get a PlayStation 5 through their scandalous means and their scandalous variety of tools that they use to get it. It's like, this is ridiculous. This is a PlayStation 5. This is a toy, an entertainment thing. But the high demand of this system and the lack of availability of the system has really created this secondary market to where things like bots are able to swoop in and buy up all these systems. Because let's be honest, like we said at the start of the video, you can't just stroll into your GameStop and pick up a PlayStation 5. You can't camp out outside your Walmart or your GameStop or your Target in hopes of getting a PlayStation 5, because there's nothing in store. Everything is being done online, and because of this, it just looks like there's infrastructures not set up in place to avoid these sort of situations. Because once again, do you think Walmart really cares who buys the PlayStation 5 from their website? No, of course not. As long as the PlayStation 5 sells, as long as Walmart gets you on their website, they are happy, because hey, maybe you'll pick up something else on the website, like a Polly Pocket or something. I don't know, do they still make Polly Pocket? It just sort of popped into my head. Shout outs to Polly Pocket, and I like the boys one too. What was it, Monster Island or whatever? I had one of those when I was a kid. But anyways, they just want you to go to their website. They want to get rid of the stock of the system in hopes that you will buy other things on their website. So because of this, now more and more of these systems are just completely unavailable. So where do they turn up? Oh, you know where they turn up, on good old eBay. And looking at eBay right now for PlayStation 5 is absolutely disgusting. I could vomit. It's so gross what these systems are selling for. The digital PlayStation 5 system at its lowest, at its absolute lowest, is selling for over $900. That is a $500 markup from the original $400. And you know that this individual did not camp out outside for 12 hours and get a nasty cold just trying to make some ends meet and make some extra money, which I would respect. I would have no problem with that. If you secured a system that way, you put in time and effort, that's one thing. Using a bot that someone else created, that's just absolutely ridiculous though. That requires nothing but paying to get into a Discord server in order to access this bot. So yes, a $500 markup, and then the disc-based ones are selling for over $1,200. Over $1,200. Yes, the disc-based system of the PlayStation 5 is a $500 system, so that is over a 100% markup. You know, if you want to sell it for an extra $100 or $200 or something like that, whatever, that's one thing. But when you're selling it for $1,200, that's just absolutely disgusting. But why have we gotten to this point? Because of supply and demand. Unfortunately, yes, unfortunately, there are people out there willing to pay premium prices for the PlayStation 5 in order to get their hands on one of them. And realistically, that is what creates this secondary market. Nothing has a value unless we give it a value. Of course, there's MSRP values, but the over the value thing, the over the $500 thing, none of that has a value unless an individual is willing to say, I'm willing to pay $1,000 for this. I'm willing to pay $1,500 for this. And then other individuals see that, and that's what creates this secondary market. That's why we have something called scalpers become a profitable thing, because people are willing to give a value to this system, even though realistically it's not worth that sort of money. So can you still get your hands on a PS5 this holiday season? Are you losing all hope when it comes to it? I say do not lose hope, people. Do not lose hope. Because I have a tip for you guys, and this is a very basic tip, but it's something that you guys need to do if you want to get a PlayStation 5. The main thing you have to do is, and realize, is that websites are going to be your best bet in order to get a PlayStation 5. Best Buy, Walmart, GameStop, Target. These are all the websites that are going to be doing random drops of the PlayStation 5. So what you can do is set up an account on all of these websites. It's free to set up an account. Basically, all you do is you put in your information, your address, your name, all that crap, and then your billing information. What that ensures is that you are skipping one step when it comes to the checkout process, because because you put a PlayStation 5 in your cart doesn't mean you're going to get that PlayStation 5. You want the checkout process to be as fast and as simple as possible. And by taking precautionary measures, by setting up an account on all of these websites, you are a bit ahead of the cusp when it comes to these things. Yes, the bots are still going to be on there. You'll be fighting against the bots, but at least you'll be beating out the mother who's trying to go on Target and has never used Target's website before and has no clue what you're doing. It's cutthroat out here, people. If you want to get a PlayStation 5, you're going to have to do things like this. It only takes a few minutes to set up accounts on all of these websites, and it's something that I highly recommend doing if you want to have a good chance in order to get the PlayStation 5. But at the end of the day, we all have to remember something. The PlayStation 5 is simply an entertainment device. It is something that nobody really necessarily needs or anything like that. Even when you look at the game library of stuff, what out there is really all that gripping to where you have to have a PlayStation 5 on day one? I mean, Demon's Souls, sure, but you could play it on your PlayStation 3. Spider-Man Miles Morales, yes, I love that game. It's my game of the year, but it's also available on the PlayStation 4. You gotta be patient with things like this. Do not give in to scalpers. Do not give in to these ridiculously high prices. Do not give the people that use these bots the satisfaction of knowing that, hey, we ended up screwing over a consumer by doing this, because it's just an absolutely ridiculous situation. And then of course you have the fact that even if you order a PlayStation 5 and you secure that order, FedEx might steal it from you. It's just a horrible situation. It's definitely being exemplified by the rise of the internet, by the rise of things like Twitter and social media, where everyone can air their grievances. And it's just something I wanted to talk about, because people need to be aware of these things. It's just, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But let me know in the comments section down below what you think of everything. Did you manage to get a PlayStation 5? Are you still holding out hope? What do you think about the scalpers, the bots, the FedEx drivers stealing your stuff, the Amazon packages going missing and having rice and Nerf guns in them? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Check out other videos on the channel as well. This will probably be the last video before the American Thanksgiving season is here upon us. It happens tomorrow, so happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. If you don't, go eat some turkey, or if you're a vegan, I guess don't eat turkey. You can't even really say anything nowadays. Just have a good Thursday. How about that? And as always, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.